everyone.
Welcome. Are we live? Yes,
Yeah, I'm
I'm
just checking.
watching it on Facebook. Please check on
Yeah,
LinkedIn
yeah.
as well. On Facebook, we are live definitely.
Great, great. We can continue.
Yep. Yes, good morning, guys. I hope you and your family are doing well. Fortunately, number of cases for COVID are decreasing and we are again getting back
Yeah,
to our routine life. So, welcome to Life Indeed, the podcast where we discuss life the way it is not. It is going to be our 49th episode. So, people who are joining us first time, just to give you a brief about Life Indeed podcast. So, me and Tosif met online 3.5 years ago on LinkedIn. Ironically, we have never met each other in person, but we share almost a kind of brothership kind of relationship. And there was a time when I and Tosif were discussing about something, and then we realized that we both have certain types of life experiences which has taught us lessons which we have never ever learned in school and colleges. So then we also realize something, that life itself is a teacher which teaches us a lot of lessons, and it has a very major impact on our own personality and the kind of person who we are. And that's
absolutely.
where we thought that our life story can be an inspirational, can be motivational for someone, it can become a reference for someone basically. And that is why
Of course.
we figure out that we can start a podcast around this. I still remember the very first episode where we both just tried to share our own life experiences. We tried to become vulnerable as much as possible, and that is how we started our journey. So after second or third episode, we received some like request that there are people who also want to share their life journey with audience, which can give some different kind of perspective, which can inspire and motivate others. And that is how we have started inviting other people as well. And
True.
today we are doing our 49th episode. It's just simply unbelievable that in just week we are going to celebrate our 50th episode. So, Tosif, what's your experience and what do you have to say about our overall journey of life indeed? And what exactly we are going to do in today's episode?
Sure. Thank you so much for always giving an amazing introduction, Piyush. And yesterday I was scribbling through my social media feed on the Facebook. Generally, I designate that time at the evening. And I was checking, and suddenly one of the posts popped up, and it was showing that we did an episode with Ravi Sharma. I think that was the second, or maybe it was the first episode, and
First
it
episode,
has
I
been an
think.
year. It has been a year now.
Yes, yes.
So, in that way, it is more special because we have completed 1 year with Life Indeed podcast, and we are soon next week we are going to celebrate the 50th episode, and we have something very special to come up. And as
Absolutely.
Piyush described, our tagline is we discuss about the life the way it is not. It means that, of course, we share our good things, we share our success with each other to inspire people, to encourage people to take the actions and give them the reference, as Piyush said. However, at Life Indeed podcast, we talk about those experiences which we hesitate to share in public because we feel that if we will share, we might get judged. However,
Right,
we encourage our audience, we encourage our guest speakers, we encourage our community to
right.
speak their heart, to speak their mind, express themselves, talk about those experiences which they have gone through. They were very difficult, they were adverse, but they have learned something out of it. Because we
Absolutely.
personally feel that those experiences teaches you something, like it kind of give you life experience, and those
Correct.
life experiences deserve a share. So we started talking about it, as Piyush said. So we invited different people from all across the world with different background, and the whole purpose was to present them in front of you to make sure that they share their values, share their wisdom nuggets with you, and give you the value as we actually perceive coming via Life Indeed podcast. So
Right.
it has been an amazing journey, of course, and We have been celebrating it and we have been talking about it in each of our episode, and we always share this perspective with the people so that you are able to relate to what we talk about always. And it is
True.
important to discuss this initially when we start the episode, because you know some of you may be new to the Life Indeed podcast, and the world is very large, and we have so many people all across the world, so many diverse people. So when we talk about this initially, as we start the podcast, you actually get a feel of why we are doing this podcast and what is Life Indeed podcast all about. So today, as you said, we have designated this special episode. At as usual, we keep this episode at the end of the month to make sure that we get an opportunity to interact with you, because this is a monthly Q&A session, and we especially keep this session at the end of every month to make sure that if you have any questions that you want to ask, or if you want to come to Life Indeed podcast and share your story of, or if you have any contribution to make, that you think that there is some experience that you have had in the past and that can change somebody's life, or if not life, that can change somebody's perspective, I think
Right.
we can do that, because it is, we believe in inclusiveness. Like if you come to us, and it doesn't really matter whether you have a question, you may have something to contribute as well. So we will
Absolutely.
start today, but we will continue having the discussion. We will do a little bit of recap of what we discussed in previous episodes, because we independently we discussed about some of the subjects, like why communication is important. We also talked about the some of the books that we read. We also talked about some of the life experiences that we've had, and so we are going to talk about on multiple things. We'll continue to talk about, because we'll share the value, but at the same time, if you will have any questions, you will post it, and we would love to answer them, and we will get the answer
Absolutely.
from Piyush and me, myself, and all the other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So Piyush, to continue from here, I would like to just I would like to just express my gratitude to the universe and to all the people that we both have been very consistent on whatever we have been doing, whatever we have been loving. Of late, I have also seen you growing massively, which is extremely a pleasant news for everybody in our community, of course, because you not only have shown to individuals who are in job the way you have transitioned, and I know that you had to go through a lot of difficult times, phases. You had a lot of stress. I could figure out with our conversation that we used to have many times, but somehow you also got COVID positive, and you were very resilient, and you came back stronger. You were out for like 15, 20, some, I think, one good month, and then again bounced back, and from there you started again getting into business, and then you started getting clients, and then now you are fully charged, and you're fully accelerating. Of course, you might have different plans, and I'm aware of. So I would just like to know from your perspective that how was your journey, right, from the time when you were about to leave the job, because at one point in time you were telling me that यार my मेरे कंपनी में सब लोग फील कर रहे हैं कि मैं पीयूष छोड़ने वाला है, to the time that you are now doing your business successfully, you're getting a lot of POCs, you're getting a lot of feedback from people. So how have your journey been? Would you like to share some experience with the audience?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I would love to, because one thing where we both believe that if we can give life experiences can give a completely different perspective, which somebody might have never thought. So as you talked about our first episode, so in January I have also completed my 1 year. So last January
Great.
21 when I left my job, and now we are into February. In fact, it is more than a year now
More than a
that
year.
I am working at my own. I am not working for any company, but I'm like working independently.
Mm,
So overall journey, if I talk about, it's a very long journey. I
of
afraid that I
course.
will not be able to sum up in some 4 5 sentences or in just couple of minutes. But if I tell you that, you know so one thing which I realized after leaving my job is it is always you know more important to do something at your own, taking a stand. I very precisely, it's all about taking a stand,
Correct.
what you believe in your life, and for what you want to be remembered, So this is the philosophy where I believe very strongly, which is almost like my life motto, that at the end of my life, when I am lying, when I will be lying on my deathbed, and this is what I learned from my mentor, Robin Sharma, that when you are lying on your deathbed, nobody will be there to answer the questions, nobody will be there to share your regrets, nobody will be there to do something to fulfill you or to make you satisfied that you have done something in your life. It is you only who is responsible for everything. Either it's your wife or your parents or your friends, nobody is going to replace you, nobody can
True.
replace you when it comes to
True.
creating your legacy, or when it comes to doing the things which you want to do in your life. And that
Hmm.
is what has always propelled me, that is what always has motivated me, that it's okay if I will have some failures, and I do have failures in last 1 year. It's not like that it was almost a very successful journey and I have got a lot of business and I have started earning more than what I was earning in my job. Not
Hmm.
like that. I have gone through a lot of failures, I have gone through a lot
Of
of
course.
rejections, I have gone through a kind of situation where, in fact, today also, even after 1 year, almost every day I have this thought that should I get back to my job, you know so
Truly.
every day. Absolutely, it's not like that it is that
Hmm.
there is just one day and now you have
Hmm.
that mindset, or where you have that insecurity, that
True.
so I always give this analogy that it's a continuous fight between your old version and your new version.
Correct.
So if you are not feeding your new version or your upgrade version more power, or if you are not doing something to make it more powerful, your older version is already very much
Heavy.
powerful because it is more experienced than your new version. So till date also, on a daily basis, I'm continuously fighting with my own self, with my self doubts, with my everything, like, which is pulling me back to have that comfortable life, to have that secured life, to have that so called smooth life.
Hmm.
But the only thing which is driving me is that motivation,
Reason.
that is me
Piyush,
only.
it is very strange to hear this, that, you know, and you are very honest when you're saying this. And for example, if I'm looking at you, I feel as if Piyush is growing because, of course, looking at social media journey, number of discussions that I've had, but nobody understand the behind the scene, what's happening, right? What
Exactly.
is the psychology within, like what you're thinking, what you're talking to yourself, and what you have just said. I think it's very natural and it's very human, but it requires courage to accept it and say this.
Absolutely. And I think most of the people need to understand this, that whenever you are, and we are having this conversation on open platform, on a live discussion, that that people only perceive people by their social media front page, or the kind of activities
Of
they are
course.
displaying on their social media platforms. But
Hmm.
behind that social media, or behind that one photo, or behind that one video, we all have our personal lives, we all have our personal challenges. So people don't see that, and the actual crux is that only this is just a tip of iceberg. What we see on social media is just a tip of iceberg,
Of
but
course.
behind the curtains, behind the scene, a lot of things are happening, and people are
That people
not
don't see.
actually interested in that. And I'm
It's
pretty
not
sure
about
you
it's not
also.
about being it's not about people being interested. It's about they're not shown those things. And
And
the people
yeah, that is
who
also true.
actually, and the people like you and me who constantly share about our struggles, share about our vulnerabilities, that's the reason people are able to connect to us. It's not that
Absolutely.
we're just talking about success stories, we're talking about the accolades, we are also talking about the miseries that we are going through. So Piyush, I
Absolutely.
mean, because of the fact that it's definitely a great achievement, and transitioning from a 9 to 5 job to becoming an entrepreneur, especially when you don't have that kind of a background, is definitely commendable. and it's not something that everybody can do it. But this is for sure that including myself, you have given wings to many in terms of inspiring, encouraging. There will be a lot of people who will look at you and say, okay, this was the guy who was doing this and now he's doing this. So you definitely had set an example. But I would like to ask you a couple of things.
Please.
When you started and when you got your first success, did you have any kind of self doubt, like how am I going to go ahead, and how the future is going to look like? Did you have any such plans, or you just taken step by step approach, or you just had a vision, big goal, and you started taking massive actions, anything of such sort?
See, Tosif, I think if somebody is saying that I don't have any kind of self doubts, then that person is lying. Let me tell
Of
you
course.
that. Even a person like, let's say, a president of USA or a president of, like any country, any big powerful country, or a director of any big, giant company, we humans, it's very natural that we all have, we are tend to self doubt. When, see, it's very natural that whenever we are trying to do something new which we have never done in the past, definitely we
Hmm.
are going to have those self doubts,
True.
because something which we have never experienced, where we have never, done, or where we have never take some actions, then definitely we are going to have self doubts. But the
Hmm.
most important point is that understanding that why, and we both are very big advocates of this why question, that
True.
why you are doing something is very, very, very important.
Hmm.
And that's what has, motivated me always. Like, that's the main, you can say, a fuel for me, which has propelled me, which has motivated me. So definitely I have, and till date I have self doubts. And if you ask any successful person the same question, he
Hmm.
or she will also give you the same answer, that yes,
True.
we do have self doubts. Now the question is whether you just want to keep living with that self doubt, or you
Or you
want
want
to
to
take some
evolve?
action, or you
Hmm.
want to evolve. Yeah, evolving is a better option or a better word to make
True.
it understand. We have to keep evolving. You
Hmm.
and I, when we started our journey, we also have a lot of self doubts that will be able to do any kind of public
Hmm.
speaking, but
True.
we didn't accept it, our self doubts. We
Absolutely.
challenged our self doubts, and then we worked upon our skills. When we worked upon our mindset, we worked upon lot of things, we took lot of actions.
True.
And that is how you can overcome. But overcoming self doubt 100% is almost not possible.
Impossible.
It's a journey. You have to keep pushing, you have to keep feeding your, that this better version of yourself compared to your older
Hmm.
version.
Right. Agree. And thank you so much for sharing those things.
So Tausif, I think uh, in the same context, I would
Yeah.
also know that, when you also started your journey, and in last 1 month or 2 months, like, you are growing like anything, on whether it is LinkedIn or Instagram or, YouTube is somewhere, definitely you are going to catch up. But on Instagram, man, you are growing like anything. You have just crossed 10,000 followers in Instagram. So the two questions: how are you
Mhm.
feeling, and have you ever, thought about this in 2018, that someday you will cross like 10,000 followers on Instagram within just 2-3 months only?
Yeah.
Your growth is like that much fast. And second is, how was it like?
Mhm.
How did you achieve it?
So, Piyush, I think this answer will rather be more relevant to the audience because you know everything. But to answer to your first question, like in 2018 when we started, of course, never thought about it because for 2.5 years, I was like only 500, a community or family member of 500 people. And when I started, I remember when I did my first post on LinkedIn, 200 people. And over a period of time, I realized that my my pursuit to increase my number of followers was not motivating me. And to be
Right.
honest, although I celebrate it, because we, as Robin Sharma says, that it doesn't matter whether you're small victory or a big victory, always celebrate it. But I never chase the number of followers. I stopped doing so, because that is one of the demotivating factor. You're never going to reach a point, never
Absolutely.
going to reach a milestone.
True. True.
This has been the question that a lot of people have asked me on Instagram and on the other, and my answer remains the same. And I always say that I do not have any bloody target of a follower. All I say that, okay, whatever knowledge and experience that I have learned throughout my life, I just keep sharing it. Earlier it was little bit vague, but now I'm sharing my content around something which is related to personal transformation. Anything that can make you a completely different person or slightly different person, and you start adding value to others. And I think that is what makes me fulfilling. And I now, so to answer to your question, at that point in time, yes, I used to have targets here कि मुझे इतना करना है, मुझे इतना करना है. But after a certain period of time, that motivation faded, because that didn't inspire me anymore. So I stopped having the targets for the number of followers. I started thinking about the input and the impact, and uh, how can I rather purify, and how can I make it more qualitative, how can I make it more valuable to the audience. That's what I started thinking about. And as you know, Piyush, I have always loved making videos, and writing is one thing that I'm still like learning, and writing is something that you're always good at. And video making has always been one of the things that was very close to my heart, because via video I have always been sharing my story and sharing my learnings. So I
Right.
decided that I will start making videos, and I will share my experience with the world. I was struggling with communication at one point in time, and I was fear stricken. And I because you know that I came from a very small hometown to a Delhi, a tier 1 city, and it was very difficult for me to adjust among the people who were from convents, and who already had a very good communication skill. And I was said a lot of things, a few words which did not go well with me, of course, but I took it as a constructive criticism. I just started working on it, and then I realized that if I have improved this for myself, then why can't I give it back to society? Why can't I give it to the people and start sharing my experience?
True.
And all I can say, within just 1.5 months, not even 2 months, I grew from 600 to 10.8 today. It was just because of consistency. And now I celebrate it, because my responsibility has also grown. And also I'm more happier, because I'm more excited, because I'm able to leave the impact on a much larger scale.
Correct.
Okay, of course there will be definitely opportunities which will sprout upon the things. And now I'm also, I have been, from last 1 year I have started, giving private coaching as well, with respect to communication and the leadership. Whatever knowledge that I had, I have just organized that knowledge, started doing that. And I started making some amount of money out of my passion as well. And now in 2022, my vision is just, I need to organize things. I need to create some program which can, and the whole vision is just to, it can leave a larger impact, and more number of people can get benefited out of the experience.
Right.
One thing, and in fact two things, that I would like to share when it comes to growth on social media. First you have to marry the algorithm, and then you think about anything else. And that's
But
what I learned
Tausif,
from.
here I really want to
Yeah,
ask one question.
yeah.
So people, so frankly speaking, I had never understood this algorithm and all these things. And one
Mhm.
thing common is between us is I have also never chased the numbers.
Mhm.
Definitely you have crossed certain numbers, but still I am also into the same process. But and
Absolutely.
and I was not at all able to understand this algorithm, something technical, something which is not everybody can understand. Basically,
Of
the
course,
point is,
of course,
and
of
we really want to address the larger audience. It's just not the people who are much
true.
smarter or more smarter, or the people who are like having leadership kind of position, or the
Hmm.
people who are coming from, because we are not coming from that kind of background. So
True.
here I really want to understand a person who
Hmm.
don't understand all this nitty gritty of social media
Hmm.
but still want to grow, what will
Okay,
be
so
the
basically,
advice for
I
them?
was I was the one who never understood this. And at some time what happens is that you form limiting beliefs within yourself, and you don't actually go out of that zone and try to understand, okay, there is some reality out of what you truly believe into, and there is something else, there is an alternate version of what you think. So I also used to believe that there is nobody can understand algorithm, and I still feel that you cannot understand the algorithm. However, you can certainly respond to them, you can certainly give them what they want. So I think some of the things like your timing, your frequency, and the consistency, if you meet these three criteria, and I'm saying this with 100% honesty, if you have the timing, if you have the consistency, and if you have the frequency, you can win it. And then of course, if you meet these three criterias, then the one of the most significant thing which comes in place is your content. If you meet these three criteria and your content is not good, again, you're not going to grow. If you meet these three criteria, but this is these three criteria, your timing, your frequency, and consistency, if it is not there, maybe your content is amazing, that it then it will take a lot of time for you to grow, right? So I think what the extract that I have been able to derive out of it, the people who have really massively grown, I have heard them, I have listened to their videos, understood from them, passively. So I could understand, and I was able to apply this, and that's where the success comes. And I'm not saying that 10,000 is a very big number, but I'm grateful for the audience that I have, and I'm getting an opportunity to add value to more and more number of people. But all I'm trying to say to the people who would really wants to grow, timing, frequency, consistency matters, backed by your good content. So if any one of these elements is missing, then your
Right.
growth will be slow. I'm not saying that you will not grow, you will grow, you will take time. So
Hmm.
these are the few things, and of course there are some nitty gritties to this, there are some details to it. And one day I was Piyush, I was also thinking about, a lot of people told me, Dosif, that can you organize some knowledge around this and then take a session or something like that. And I was thinking that, okay, whatever journey I have been through, like from 2018 to so far, probably I'll take a pause at some point in time, and I will think through, and I will see if I can construct that knowledge into one, into a type of booklet, or maybe a kind of webinar. And I would love to share that, but in a crux, these four things, nothing different, nothing
Okay.
unprecedented. Yeah.
Okay. Great. I mean, some really interesting and really helpful nuggets which you have shared. But I think still there are people who are, so
Mhm.
this is a very massive problem. So,
Mhm.
so when, somebody like, so when we started in 2018, we almost started with the same like starting line, if we can
Correct.
say that, right?
Right.
And now there must be a lot of people who are starting in 2022,
True.
but the kind of that now I'm talking about one really major serious issue which is going on, which I'm observing nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
that in 2018 still the competition or the still that comparison part, that you know that how much followers I have or how much likes I'm getting, how
Mm-hmm.
much comments I'm getting, that mindset in
Mm.
2018 still it was not up
Not
to
that much.
that level which can actually affect your mindset, which can affect your overall psyche. But in
True.
2022, if you are, now there are a lot of creators, like like
Mm.
lakhs and millions of creators
True.
out there.
A lot of.
When we started in 2018, still it was not a
Not
very
that
much
much.
crowded market, or a very much crowded you can say platform. But now in
Mm-hmm.
2022, especially after corona, it is like almost like a cutthroat competition
Burst.
now it is
It
going on.
burst. Yeah.
Like
Cutthroat
everybody who
competition.
is having a good communication skill, everybody who is
Mm.
like coming from a
They
sales
are
and
out.
marketing background, they are out and they are doing this and that,
True.
so now the pressure to grow on social media has increased at an immense level, where so if you are not growing, and even though if you have a really good content, or even though if you have a very good
Mm.
intention, if
Mm-hmm.
you are not growing, then you will start living with your self doubt will start, pulling you back.
Hmm.
So what will be your like piece of advice, or what do you think about this overall situation?
I think there are two things here. Like, one is competition has definitely grown, and of course, as the market size has also grown. And the second thing is, like, as a result of the competition, if you as an individual are not growing, and then you start to ask some questions, you have self doubt. So what you should do in that case? And I think to answer to the first question, I s- if I compare with 2018 to 2022, I definitely accept and I can't deny that the number of people in terms of content creators and the people who have now started producing on social media have definitely grown up. But at the same time, if I compare that number even in 2022, producer versus consumer, there is still a very significant gap. Like, if there are 1 million producers, there are still 7.2 billion people on the planet. And even if we will go, let's see, we go move to 2023, 2024, 2025, this number is going to increase significantly, right? But even if we go to 2025, let's say there are 1 million producer today, and it is going to increase to 2 million or maybe 10 million. That number in comparison to consumer, it still remains very, very low, right? First, I get a hope. I get a hope that even if there is more competition, the numbers of producer will grow. But I am very optimistic that my consumer is there, right? I have that hope and I have that belief. We have to go with that belief first. Second, if you're not growing, maybe it's time to do self introspection, because maybe you're not growing. It may not be because of your competitor is outsmarting you. That may not be the only reason, right? There might be something else.
Right.
So I think it's time to do the self introspection. Maybe it is a time to take help, because asking for help from somebody who is growing is not will not make you
True.
feel inferior, will not make
True.
you appear as if you're lesser than something, because everybody has a unique experience. And
True.
if you ask me, and I will give you a very honest answer, Piyush, and to everybody who's listening, I don't feel a competition. I don't know, but I do not at all feel a competition. I'm a very positive believer that some days I get 100 views on the video. Some days I got 50 to 55,000 videos, and for me it doesn't matter. Even if there is a one view, I feel as if there was one person who viewed it, and one person was able to listen to it. And I get nowadays I get a lot of DMs and get a lot of feedback, and at times there are a lot of abuse as well on social media. But I don't care anymore. All I care is, like, there are people who are with me, there are people who support me, there are people who learn from me, there are people who teach me. So I just have to keep growing. I just have to head into the same direction where my vision is. I don't have to look here and there. And as you also believe into the same thing, Piyush, when
Right.
it comes to technically you're not growing on social media, I think it's time to do the self introspection, learn from the people who are growing. Maybe there is something wrong, maybe there is a content strategy that is not right in place, maybe there is a lesser personalization in the content, maybe there'll be a number of things. When we sit and when we do the brainstorming, we get to know a lot of things. And
Right.
this has been the case with me, Piyush. As you know, that for 2.5 years we are the same. We do the same thing, right?
Hmm.
I had like 500-600 people. It is just like, when I started making videos constantly, people loved it. People started sharing it. Like 3,000 share on one video. So I mean, which tells that what you're sharing, it's a testimony that it is adding value to the people, and ultimately
Right.
that's what is more fulfilling.
True.
And to be honest, if I start saying that, my God, there are more than 100,000 people who have 1 million plus followers, and I'm sitting at 10,000, it's a big reason for me to worry. It's a big reason for me to compare myself with those giants and stop working, right?
Correct.
There are
True.
people who just have 10 followers, 15 followers on social media, and they are very big. They are like leaders. They have so much to talk about, but they don't have number of followers. Would they
True.
stop doing what they love to do? So I think
True.
comparing ourselves basis the growth on social media would be wrong. I know you, Piyush. You're so much knowledgeable. You are coaching companies. You are coaching people to people and companies to build their brand and leverage social media growth. I mean, if I say that you have less number of followers, it doesn't make you feel less knowledgeable. It doesn't make you feel less
Absolutely.
respected, right?
And that is what
So
I think, that is one perspective I really want to give to our audience, that
definitely,
don't fall for that fallacy that if you are having like more number of followers and
yeah,
subscribers, then you are more successful. And if you are not, see, that's what I'm trying to bring into this conversation, that
true.
so we started our journey in 2018 together. Now you have reached to more than 10,000 followers on LinkedIn. Also, you are growing. At the same time, I'm not able to reach to that kind of numbers, but still we both are sharing the same platform, and we are trying to
Of
bring
course,
that perspective, because it is something which is very dangerous, I think.
very
Somewhere,
dangerous.
even after working upon my own mindset, even after having this journey of two like 3.5 years, I have this questions, this
Hmm.
self doubts which you talked about. Now a
Yeah,
person who is not working upon that self doubt, just imagine what kind of pressure he or she might be going through if they are not working upon that mindset, if they are not working upon their
of course. एक चीज मुझे याद आई
self
पीयूष,
improvement. Yeah.
मेरे एक इंस्टाग्राम लाइव पे एक लड़का आया देहरादून से.
Hmm.
उसने बोला, आई सेड डू यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चन, ही सेड जिस टॉपिक पे बात हो रही तो मैं उससे रेजोनेट कर पा रहा हूँ, तो आई एम जस्ट शेयरिंग दैट स्टोरी. सो दैट गाय केम, ही सेड आई जस्ट वांट टू मेक अ लॉट ऑफ मनी. अरे यार, मैं तौसीफ के साथ आऊँ, कोई तो फॉलो कर लो सर, नंबर ऑफ फॉलोअर्स कैसे बढ़ाने. एंड दैट वाज अ टीनेजर, लाइक मे बी in his 16 or 17 year old, not more than that. And on the same line, I get a lot of questions like how to grow followers. People are so attached to growing
that's
followers.
what that's what my point is, so people are so much basically it's about getting attached to the numbers,
Yeah,
that how many people are follow. So when we actually, so let's go into a deeper psychology of this. So when I'm saying that somebody is following me, so what do you actually feel, or what do you believe about this, that why somebody is following? Or a following means not, it's not about that somebody is like they are like your juniors, or then they are following
hmm,
your orders. It's not like that. If you are having followers, then it's a responsibility. You are actually playing with
of course.
someone's life, you are actually playing with someone's emotion. Your
Yeah,
one wrong perspective can give a completely different view altogether to someone, like so it's a responsibility.
I
See,
agree with you, Piyush.
running, it's like that's why this so most of the people run away from the sales job, because sales job is all about numbers. People don't want to chase numbers, people don't want
True.
to achieve targets, because you have to work in that pressurized situation. Now even if you are not into sales job, you are actually indirectly running into that sales job of getting followers and subscribers, which is far more dangerous, which is far more toxic actually. That's what people need to understand, that don't just run behind the numbers, just run behind the value what you can add with the help of your whatever experience, whatever
Absolutely, man.
knowledge you have in your life,
मैंने ये
that
गलती
help.
करी थी पीयूष, and I got demotivated very soon. Very early, I got demotivated. I said that I want to reach 1,000 Instagram followers. I did not reach, and I got demotivated. I said
Right.
it is, even it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter how many followers I will have, and I will have the same amount of feeling. Let's just get
Absolutely,
out
absolutely.
of this, because this is not going to
Otherwise,
stop.
I mean, otherwise you will always have another benchmark. So this is
Of course,
analogy one,
I'll just be
like,
grateful for the things that I will have, but I will not
absolutely.
attach this with myself. It is not my
Absolutely.
identity.
It's your
Otherwise, I might get
identity.
demotivated.
Exactly. That's what the point is. It's not your identity that you, like Piyush Patel having like this many of followers or this many of subscribers, or Tausif Hassan having like this many of followers. So it's not, that's what we discussed at the starting of this podcast as well.
Of course.
That a lot of things are going behind the curtains as well. This is not the only life which we are showing on
But
camera, right?
Piyush, most of the people actually, when they look at you, or maybe look at us, maybe the people in our community, they just say, okay, my God, he's doing good. And I'm giving you an example of yesterday. One of my boss, and he messaged. He actually started one initiative on YouTube. I said that, sir, if you want, I'm happy to shout out. He messaged me, "You're a big man now." And at one point in time, he used to say that, Tosif, you don't speak well. Make sure when you're speaking in Hindi, speak in Hindi. When you're speaking in English, speak in English. Don't mix and match, and a lot of other things. And yesterday I said to him, I am happy to shout out. And he said that, Tosif, I share your example with people. Now, now, similarly, a lot of people message me and on Instagram with respect to like how to grow big, how to do well, how you're growing these many followers, how you're speaking so well. But nobody questions, have you
True.
ever been, have you have any had any failure, did you go through any adversity, did you go through any challenges in your life? Those are the questions to actually ask, because those will give the right perspective to the people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the
That's what
very
we
basic
have been
question,
discussing.
the
Yeah,
how can I start? I mean, that's the very
I think
basic
you
question.
asked a very good question, because that's where I think we were able to discuss on this very important topic of, because in 2022 people attach their emotions with the number of followers, likes, saves,
Absolutely.
and unnecessarily they put undue pressure on them when they don't get it,
And
not even
more,
understanding that they are
what
they're not
is
meant for that.
what is more dangerous is now it's a actually informal way of validating someone's success
Absolutely
or validating someone's credibility.
true. And
So
Piyush, because you watch Netflix a lot, so for the first time I have paid Netflix, and as you know that I'm not a big movie fan. I think this is only the this is not the only this is the only similarity that we don't have. Otherwise, we have a lot of things in common. And I wanted to watch a couple of movies, and one thing is Social Dilemma. Social Dilemma is a
yes.
Netflix series that I wanted to understand how what these guys are doing, like big media companies, big tech companies, how they're playing with us. And I've
And you
just
know
finished half.
what, this is one really interesting fact which really I want to interject here, that so as human beings we are still in the process of evolution.
True.
So if you see the development of technology, advancement of technology,
Hmm.
which happened up to I think so 1970, 80 or 90, which
Hmm.
was very much slow. But after
So
1990 or after 2000, the technology advancement, the speed of advancement of technology is so much faster.
right.
With same case with internet, with same case with any other technology. So
True.
as human beings we are not still able to understand the consequences of this technology on our psychology. So
Absolutely.
how this internet, this social media, or any other technology is affecting our psychology as human beings, still we are not able to understand. Still we are
And that's
figuring
what
out.
that's what the Social Dilemma Netflix series is talking about. I've just
Exactly.
finished half, and I'm really intrigued and very curious to finish the series, because the amount of impact that these social media sites and this life is having on our personal life is massive. And we don't even know that these social media companies are just buying our attention free of cost, and earning money out of our attention, and they're not
Absolutely.
even paying anything to us. We are
Absolutely.
giving our attention for free of cost to them, and
True.
they're earning the amount of money, and they're earning billions of dollars out of our attention, and we are paying it for free to them.
True.
I think it's a big
True.
question to us whether we just want to constantly and mindlessly consume the content on social media, or we become more aware and we use it as our utility. We use it as a tool for our personal growth, and this is a big thing to decide.
Absolutely. I
I
mean,
hope you would agree with me on this.
one should not give their peace of mind, or one should not give their solitude at the
True,
cost of that so-called entertainment, or so-called
true,
that instant gratification, what we say. People just give away their family time, their learning time, their introspection time to the social media platforms. And
true.
we both have grown on social media, but still we are talking about this problem because this is much larger problem to address.
We can do a
And
separate episode onto this.
absolutely, absolutely, that's
Piyush,
what
I think
I
we, we
just
we
thought.
decided to do this for 45 minutes today, but we'll give
Yep,
2 minutes to the audience if there are any questions. So many people have joined, so just we just want to thank
yep,
Archana, LinkedIn user, Bushra as always being our esteemed audience. Hector, Chunag, Take Kim. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. And MS Suchi is one of our friend. She has been very supportive to us.
yep.
And thank you so much, guys, everyone who have joined us and contributed, complimented. So really, really appreciate.
So I
And if we
think,
have, yeah,
Tausif, let's tell our audience that we will be celebrating our 50th episode
yeah,
next week.
yep,
We are definitely going to announce a lot of things, and we have already announced a lot of things. But in coming weeks, we will also put something on social media that how exactly we are going to celebrate our 50th episode.
true.
So if you want to share about
Yeah, yeah,
it
sure.
something.
So as we have already shared with our audience and me and Piyush, we have talked about it constantly that we are soon to launch our YouTube channel. That would be a Life Indeed dedicated YouTube channel where we will be doing all of
Yes,
the episode. In
yes,
current scenario, what we're doing that whenever a podcast is happening on my YouTube channel, I share my link, and whenever it is happening on Piyush's channel, he share his link. So it is slightly confusing for the audience as well. So of course we decided it long back that from our 50th episode, maybe 51st episode, we will soon launch our YouTube channel and we will put it all the videos that we have previously interviewed people we did on our own on single platform. That will be a Life
yes,
Indeed YouTube channel. Secondly, we are going to launch our community as well. Of course we didn't,
yes,
this is something which was a missing link because there are a lot of people who support us, who love us. So we decided that we will put them in a single community where we will be able to privately interact with each other. We will be
absolutely
able to contribute, we will be able to brainstorm, and we will be able to take some more initiative which can benefit the larger audience. And
true.
the third, of course, from a quality point of view, we are taking some more initiatives, and we would love to disclose on 50th episode. I would like Piyush to talk about what's the plan and what we are going to do special, and or we want to keep some secret out of it.
I mean, the very bottom line is we are definitely going to cherish our, this journey
Hmm.
of Life Indeed podcast. Like we will be decoding almost every episode, like every single episode, we will be talking about that what we have learned, what has, gone right, what has gone wrong, because we also learned a lot of things in this 49th episode of journey.
No
So
doubt
we
about
are
it.
the one very important thing which we are going to talk about is our journey. So if somebody in our audience who is looking forward to start their own podcast, it is going to be very interesting for them, it is going to
Yeah.
be very informative for them, because it can give you a lot of perspective. Now podcast is definitely going to be a very big thing in future, because so Gary Vee also says that video is something which is massive in current time,
Hmm.
but in future it is going to be replaced
Audio.
by audio.
Yeah.
So one more thing which I would love to share with our
Yeah.
audience, that we are just not going to be available on YouTube. We will be available on Spotify as well, as an audio podcast. So
Hmm.
if you are someone who is facing challenges with respect to watching videos, you can listen to our podcast on Spotify as well while you are driving, or when you are doing some exercises in the gym, when you are having your morning walk. So that is
Yeah.
also one thing which we are going to bring in. And as you already mentioned about community, now that is something very important. So me and Tosif strongly believe that it's just not about sharing information. We actually believe in real transformation. So
Yeah.
now what we are going to do is we are going to build a community where we can interact with a larger audience. At the same time, we can actually bring some real values in someone's life. So if you are someone who is watching our Life Indeed podcast from last 49 episodes, we welcome you. We encourage you to be a part of our Life Indeed community. It is
Yeah.
definitely going to be very interesting. It is definitely going to be very inspirational, motivational, and then we will be planning certain activities, some kind of exercises by which you can also do the same things which we were able to do in our life. So it is definitely going to be very helpful for the people, and it's always about giving back to the society, to the
society,
world.
of course.
And this is going to be our give back to our audience of Life in the podcast.
Thank you so much, Piyush, and really appreciate everyone joining us. And
Yep.
so we are looking forward to have you on 50th episode. So everybody who has joined us, and I would also I have one request to make to all of you guys is that 50th episode is going to be special. So any one of
Yep.
you who from your family, from your friends wants to join that 50th episode, because we are going to offer a lot of value in that episode. What we have discussed in last one
Yes.
year in all the episode, we are going to keep that up. You might get an opportunity to see the people who have already come, and we have certain secrets. We are planning to give some giveaways, so we'll talk about on 50th episode. And in fact, we might come live for few like 5-10 seconds on the social media platform to talk about like what's so special, and we are going to plan it, and
Yes.
we need
Yes.
your
Yes. Yes.
support. We need you to come in large numbers, and of course
Absolutely.
bless us, and that would be really fulfilling for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely, brother. So I think it's time to
Yeah.
say goodbye to our
Goodbye,
audience.
everyone. Take care
So,
and
guys,
happy
take
weekend.
care. Bye bye.